I woke up groggy. I was almost scared to death by the giant sword standing. Frightened me to death. I was in tears and urine. But I was disrupted by a pair of long legs. Disrupted the emotions that were about to spread. Looking up along the long legs, I saw her lips slightly open in the spring garden. But I didn't know what he was saying. But the next second, the bitch's move almost killed me. I saw the Yankee numbers, eternal rune flashing, and the jade arm lifted to pull out the giant sword. No matter how I screamed my heart out, it couldn't change the final outcome. The next second, I suddenly woke up with cold sweat. Fortunately, it was just a dream. Could it be that I have fallen? I would have such a dream. No, it must be those punks yesterday. My name is Wu Yao. I'm an ordinary college student, like other adolescent boys. I have some unspeakable secrets. I was even peeped at when I was peeing. While chatting with them, I heard that near the Shinnan street where I live, there were successive discoveries of drained male corpses. This casual conversation left a deep mark on my young heart. I was already timid. I walked on the street more carefully. But no matter how careful I was, the goddess of luck always takes extra care of me. In this dim corner, anyone would not be calm when seeing this scene, especially facing the sharp gaze. Thinking I had met a female hooligan, I immediately had a picture in my mind. But before I could run, I heard footsteps behind me. Then, while my head was in severe pain, I was thrown into the air. Before I landed, another kick hit my face. It's said that before death, people will see what they most want to see. I don't know if this counts. Just when I was being beaten and doubted life, another voice sounded from a distance. Looking at the figure approaching slowly, the beauty who hit me, she suddenly showed a terrified expression. Just as I said, suddenly, a flash of golden light appeared, and I was directly knocked down after a dodge. Just then, a golden light flashed past where I just stood. Fortunately, I was saved by the beauty. Otherwise, I would be dead. The beauty said, "If you don't want to die, run away." At this time, I didn't have the heart to run away. I roared loudly, "What do you want to do?" At this moment, a blonde beauty with a golden sword in her hand walked in slowly. When the blonde beauty walked in, I was shocked. Isn't this the sister in my dream? Just then, I heard Batal shout that you were under his charm. If you don't run, you'll become a mummy. Suddenly, the blonde beauty's hand glowed with purple light, saying that we are all witches. And our goal is the sword, isn't it? As for what they become, has anything to do with us. Although I couldn't understand what they were saying, but my intuition told me it wouldn't be a happy thing. At this time, the blonde beauty was even more aggressive, using words to provoke and ridicule. But Sister Batal was not moved, but instead urged me to run. Are you kidding me? I'm the kind of person. And leave the beauty behind to run away? She picked up the fire extinguisher and sprayed it everywhere, regardless of anything. I pulled Sister Batal and ran away, but the blonde beauty behind me didn't rush to chase me, but stood there and started drawing some symbols. Although I couldn't understand what she was doing, but I learned from Batal that those mummies were all done by the blonde beauty. But suddenly a cobweb appeared in front of me. Without a doubt, this spider web was to catch me. Before I could react, the blonde beauty appeared in front of me. She said in a deep voice in my ear, "I'll take it." Seeing no hope of escape, I hurriedly shouted, "Run away!" But Sister Batao is also a passionate person. Seeing me in danger, she hurried forward to rescue me. But she stepped on a fire extinguisher and pounced straight towards me. Coincidentally, this was a godsend, which was just right for catching birds. Coincidentally, at this moment, the energy in Sister Batao's hand suddenly overflowed, which made the blonde beauty dare not open her eyes. Batao, with the golden light in her hand, didn't know what was going on. Murmuring to herself how to get bigger, as soon as she finished speaking, the golden light shot straight into the sky, and the surroundings were all within the range. As the golden light dissipated, Batao looked at the remaining golden light in her hand. She was confused. I was crying with tears in my eyes, asking, "Girl, what did you do to me?" But Batao was even more confused. She replied lightly that you didn't die. This girl is called Lin Zij. She says she was a spirit from the 10,000 spirits world, and the witch spirit of the Titanium clan just came from the same world. The creator god gave them divine grace. The witches can draw their swords to draw the most powerful and invincible weapon. Wait, draw the sword? Am I a sword? I did experience an unreal reality just now, but my heart was calm. But the crisis has been lifted. Girl, can you get off me first? Sister Batao just realized it and apologized hurriedly. She saw that I was still a little confused. I was afraid that I hadn't expressed myself clearly. I don't know what method she used. She directly pulled my consciousness into her sea of consciousness with a wave of dizziness. I was taken to a palace. There were all kinds of strange-looking guys standing around. At the end of the palace, on the throne sat a beautiful woman with her legs crossed. She is the goddess of the spirit world. Below are representatives of various races to attend the once-in-5-year tribute. Suddenly, there was chaos in the field. Everyone smelled a stench. The next second, a guy who looked like the Bull Demon King suddenly fell to the ground and died. That's not all. And then the entire bovine race was wiped out. Everyone was frightened by this scene. They didn't expect the barefoot goddess athlete's foot. Looking at the silent crowd below, the goddess said lightly, "Since there are no objections, then that's the decision. Each race sends a witch spirit to represent the tribe in battle. If they win, this treatment will be lifted." With the disappearance of the picture, combining the information I got, I came to a conclusion that this is a race. It's like a chicken-eating game, with toads having their own poison circle. Humans are the props for them to obtain weapons, while I am the odd one out among all the props. The reason why these witches came to Earth, because it was recorded in an ancient book. The Earth is inhabited by a race called primates, the king of all spirits. It sounds very powerful, but what I didn't expect was that the so-called primates are so weak. Hearing what Shiji said, which made me very angry, I turned around and said goodbye. Too late to shake hands, but the next second, I was pushed back. I was still angry. When facing Shiji's pitiful request, my heart gradually softened. Who made me so excellent? But now is not the time to say that. The spider girl is still alive. Hearing what I said, Shiji was obviously taken aback. His nerves immediately tensed up. Then I took this opportunity and ran away. Why do I always get hurt? Gods fight. Don't get involved. Okay. I was fighting wits with Shigi. I didn't notice that. There was always someone was silently observing us in the air. The scene changed. I am now like a frightened bird after running all night. I didn't put my heart at ease until I sat in the classroom. But when I was most relaxed, a person suddenly appeared under the desk. It was Shiga, facing Shige's sincere gaze. I almost scared to death. Even if I hid in the men's room, I still couldn't escape from Shige's clutches. Are you a devil? I ignored the puzzled eyes of my classmates. I ran away again. Through my unremitting efforts, I finally made it to the recess. Looking at the dense crowd around me, I finally felt a little bit of security. But I was too young to know that. I didn't expect Shige to appear directly on the podium and took the microphone from the teacher. In front of many classmates, he shouted loudly, "Crow, stop running away and sign a contract with me." Facing the various eyes shot from the front, I was terrified. In the blink of an eye, I became the focus of everyone. Hearing the constant booing around me, no matter how I explained, it seemed so feeble. At that time, I could only escape from this place that ruined my life. I don't know what else I can do. Yes, I cried, looking at my running back. Shiji silently said sorry in his heart. "Wuya, for the comfort of my people, I must get you." What's it like to be cornered by a beautiful woman? My name is Wu Yao. Just now, I was cornered by a beautiful woman. I could only choose to run away, but I was stopped by two bad friends. These two friends are also weirdos. They started accusing me angrily, accusing me of betraying the organization, but then turned into a fanboy, kneeling in front of Shi and acting like a dog. Seeing the speechless Shigi, I asked helplessly why he didn't change his target. Shigie said that the sacred object chose me and took out a pendant. When the sacred object approached me, there seemed to be something sucked out of my body. It lasted for a long time. It even had a momentum of soaring into the sky, while I was lamenting the gap between me and the two dogs. Shigie said that if I didn't sign a contract with him, other witch spirits would be attracted to me soon. But I never expected that this weirdo would come so soon. Just then, a white snake with a human body and a snake tail coiled on a tree smiled charmingly at me. But then she showed a fierce look and dived towards me. I had given up resisting. I was ready to be coiled up, but was lifted into the air by a pair of thighs. Looking up, the owner of these long legs was a beauty who looked like a bee. I was already terrified of heights, and now I was panicked. I could only keep grabbing in the air, hoping to find some security. I don't know if I accidentally touched something or something else. The bee girl holding me was stunned for a moment, and then she had a happy expression, as if all her strength had been drained, and trembled in place. What's more tragic is that the wind that couldn't fly anymore actually carried me headfirst to the ground. Fortunately, I didn't fly very high, otherwise I would have fallen to my death. The key is, What's on my head? It's sticky. Just as I was confused, I saw Shiji flash in front of me and said anxiously that it was the bee syrup of the bees, which is harmless to the body. But at this time, the white snake also rushed over, angrily questioned the bee woman in the sage state. How dare you steal his prey? Looking at the two in the distance, I awkwardly said, who is yours? In terms of first come, I should be his. Obviously, after hearing my words, Xiaobai was very disdainful, believing that the spirit bee tribe is the weakest. An told Xige to get away. The little bee couldn't stand being ignored like this. The angry bee girl. She raised her hand and cast a psychic spell, and summoned a ninja worker bee. I thought the worker bee was used for combat. I never expected that. The bee woman directly aimed at the worker bees, and pulled out her sword. The poor worker bee didn't even start, and it was over. The little white on the opposite side also pulled out his sword. The next second, the swords of the two collided. However, obviously, Xiaobai was slightly inferior to Feng Nu. Obviously not as good as the wind girl. The wind woman took the opportunity to swing her sword. Countless wind thorns attacked in all directions. Xiaobai was caught off guard. Fortunately, I have Zij to protect me, to avoid being accidentally injured. But the power of this sword was really amazing. With a loud bang, the field was instantly covered by energy. Where the energy spread, chickens flew, and dogs jumped. Seeing this scene, I was angry and wanted to stop the reckless wind. But the wind girl said with a fierce look, compared to the life of our clan, the sacrifice of any number of ants is insignificant. Seeing us confronting each other, Tiangu didn't know what was wrong with him. He trembled and took out his phone. And he even wanted to post it on Moments. But he didn't expect the retribution to come so soon. He was just caught by the passing Xiaobai. Xiaobai, who was worried about losing his weapon, seeing the trembling and distorted dog-licking brother. With a slight upward tilt of the corner of his mouth, proudly stretched out his hand to the dog. But at this moment, was interrupted by a stone. At this moment, I was supporting the seriously injured Shigi. Approaching slowly, at this moment, I seemed to have made up my mind. I said lightly that I hate trouble the most. But I hate these guys who kill people at will. I make a contract with you. Shiji, draw your sword. Obviously, Shiji was also ready for a final fight. This simple word contains all the emotions. I heard Shigi shout to draw his sword. Look at Shiji. His little hand kept slapping my chest. Obviously, he pulled out nothing. What the hell? What's going on? This is not what the script says.